Alrighty YouTube, another one of Kip's Clips. A bit of a late night one for me, but fuck it, I'm up anyway, so I might as well do this. What I'm about to show you kind of blows me away. It really does, man, but maybe it's just me. But today I was at the Glasgow Necropolis. I can't say the word right. Glasgow Cemetery behind the Cathedral. Necropolis. Oh, fuck it. I can't say the word right, but I'll show you the pictures anyway. But in amongst, which I found out today, the John Knox's 70-foot statue looking over the whole city of Glasgow, which I've yet to put a date on, by the way, but it was there before the cemetery. The cemetery was built around the statue of John Knox by the Victorians. Another note as well, I don't know how smooth this is going to run, how well it's going to work. I've currently got Sony Vegas rendering a film. I can even see my camera going a bit choppy and stuff. I hope that doesn't come across in the broadcast, but hey, I will live and learn. I've got, oh Jesus, it looks choppy as fuck. I hope it's only on my end and not the broadcast end, but I'll wait and see. So if this doesn't work out too well, I shall do this again, because there's pictures in here that you have to see in high def, and well, you don't need to see it in high def, but you need to see the pictures. But was it the Glasgow Necropolis thing today? And man, what a fucking place. If you're a Glaswegian, man, hang your head in shame if you've never been there, man, and make it your next port of call, man. What a place. I was looking back at the pictures and the camera footage I had there, and it doesn't do it justice. When you're looking down on the cathedral, you're literally losing your breath because of the vertigo, man, because you can't, the camera doesn't give the height and the scale, it blows you away. But amongst all the obelisks and all the Knights Templars crosses and all that, there was one gravestone that I came across. In fact, pretty sure it was JP that pointed it out to me, and it had the Jesuit sign on it. No ifs, no buts, no maybes about it. The fucking Jesuit symbol, boom, right there on the headstone, and I will actually show you this. I find it fascinating. I really do. I find it blew me out the water. So anyways, what I'm going to do is batter into these pictures, hopefully, because as I said, I've got my Sony Vegas running now, rendering all today's footage and all the pictures as well together in a full clip, which I will put up on my channel. I've put bits and bobs up on my channel as well, so if you want to go and check that out, a few cracking clips. There's one in particular that cracks me up. I've watched it 3 or 4 times and I'm still pissing myself laughing. What is it? BBC Pooper Propaganda Human Billboard. My haggis is in the freezer. Go and watch that, man. Especially if you're Scottish, man. It'll crack you up. Even if you're British, man, I'm pretty sure you'll get the fucking gist of it. Big bunch of, a big massive bunch. Pretty sure it was Italian. Positive it was Italian, actually, because they were speaking Italian. They were walking up to me and JP, and I had the big BBC propaganda sticker on my t-shirt, so I'm just standing there like a human billboard. I just put on my worst typical Scottish accent of it. Hey, JP, you put your haggis in the oven. My haggis is in the freezer. I'm going to have to defrost it in the boiler. But anyway, it's fucking hilarious. Maybe you had to be there. Maybe you have to have the sixth sense of humour I've got, man. But it cracked me up anyway. But I want to show you these pictures, if indeed this is working. In fact, before I do that, what I'll do, have a wee look. Necro. James, tell me how to pronounce it, man. I've pronounced it right a few times, but for whatever reason, the more I try and pronounce it right, the worse I'm pronouncing it. So fuck it, mate. Necropolis. It's not fuck that word that James has got up there. How you doing anyway, James? And aye, mate. You're saying that you're not too far by. I'm definitely planning on going back there a lot, man. Even if it's just to go and sit and chill and look at the views, I kid you not, it's a phenomenal place. Not been there in a long time, and I've not been able to appreciate The beauty of this place, man, the absolute beauty of it, man. You're amongst all the Masonic symbolism and fucking 70-foot statues of John Knox and shit, man, but strip that away, man. There's no denying the beauty of that place. And anybody that comes to Glasgow, anybody that stays in or around or near Glasgow, get yourself to the Glasgow Necropolis. Fuck, I need new teeth or something. But get yourself along to there, man. Phenomenal place to go. And James, you stay close, buddy. Get some contact details, man. I don't think I've got your Skype. Maybe you've gave me your Skype. I'm not sure. Forgot. Freemason Illuminati. Someone called me. Illuminati kill. Okay, no, mate. It cracks me up too. Here, look. I'm a practicing Muslim and a Freemason at the same time. People and look, oh, Freemason. People just fucking. Some people are just living in a delusional world, man. Honestly, they do actually believe in paranoid delusions. I like to think I'm paranoid to a certain extent, but a safe extent. But I would like to think I don't stay in a paranoid delusion. Necropolis. I'm never going to get it. Necropolis, Necropolis, Alice. Oh, fuck. I'm never going to get it, man. I'm never going to get it. So, anyway, let me see. How do I do this? What buttons do I need to press now? Google Chrome is having a big brain fart just now and is not working very friendly with regards to the Google Hangouts. So I've resigned myself to using Firefox for the Google Hangouts. My logic beforehand was Google Chrome would work better with Google Plus, being them both Google, but it doesn't seem to be the case right now. But anyways, and I hope this is actually broadcasting okay, because as I said, I'm raping my processor right now by using the old Sony Vegas to render all my footage from today. So anyway, let's get on with the pictures. Now, oh shit, it would help if I actually open them up first. Now, I'm not going to just jump to the Jesuit sign straight away. I'm going to go through all the pictures, and well, I won't. This will be short and sweet, I promise. Right, there we go. I've got the pictures open now, so I should be able to share these bad boys. Now, obviously, a few of them are just these are pictures I just took on my saunter on the way up to Cathedral Street, then on to Glasgow Cathedral, then on to the Necropolis, then on to the cemetery. But these were a few things. I've took pictures of them before. It just like Vogue, Sherry Blair, a black marker and a good artistic hand needs to be brought down that alley. It's just this is the, I can't remember, I don't know the name of the street, but it's just off of George Square as you're going towards the Italian Centre. So these were a couple of interesting pictures. We've seen that one. Well, hold on, I'll show you the Kill Moby one. No, Die Moby, Die. Kirsten Dunst sends bombs kill. So I find them quite comical, but it's an artist that's doing it, and then Fly posted some of them over. So just go and check that out, you'll find them. Now this is Big Dave just turned up out the blue and put one of the BBC propaganda stickers on. We've now got, I don't know if these are popping up in cities all around the UK. They've popped up in Glasgow recently. I know they've been down in London for some time. They're now in Glasgow. So I thought Big Dave thought you'd put a sticker on the back of one of them. Hopefully it gets about and gives a wee bit of good advertising for the BBC propaganda. Castle Street. It used to be Monk's Castle. I don't know enough details to go into it just now, but I found it interesting, and it's something that I'm going to brush up on. There's the front of Glasgow Cathedral, the necropolis is behind it. Now the front of the front of it does not give it justice in scale, in the sense that how to explain this? It declines. I know that's probably not the right way to explain it, but the gradient declines from the front facade. So the back of the cathedral is, I don't know, let's estimate a third or not more taller than the front of it, just due to, I'd imagine, just due to the lay of the land when they were building the bad boy. Not really sure what this is. This was just one of the ancient walls that's on the front of it. As you can see, it's not a lot of details been left on it for whatever rhyme or reason. Some of them seem to be deliberately chiselled out. Again, for whatever rhyme or reason. Necropolis. No, it's not. Necropolis is right. Necropolis. Right, that fucking place anyway. Right. So anyway, there's John Knox monument, 70-foot monument. Predated the necropolis and has a 12-foot statue of Knox in his Geneva gown clutching a Bible in his right hand. Got a few good pictures of that. I will be putting these pictures up on my Facebook, so if you want to go and read all that yourself, I mean, just stick it in the Googles and you'll probably get more information, to be honest. Again, I'm working from a wee shitty phone, so these are some pictures I try to... I'm learning how to try and get the light right and stuff, but probably really badly. Here's one of the houses for 1890. This is on the wee pathway in towards the cemetery itself. There's one of the watchtowers. In fact, I believe it's a watchtower. I haven't confirmed that yet, but it looked like, to me, it looks like one of the graveyard watchtowers. Back in the day, and especially in Edinburgh, but I would argue UK-wide, there was a problem with grave robbing, not for grave goods or anything, but for actually the bodies. Because back in the day, medical science needed cadavers, dead bodies to work on, and they used to go and dig them up and cut them up and take the bits out and see how the body worked. Anyway, so there was actually there really used to be like guards in the cemetery to make sure people weren't there fucking digging it up. Here was just an interesting monument. I thought it was very interesting with the yin and the yang. The yin and the yang is the Masonic symbolism that turns up in the east, the black and the white it usually is, but here it's the red and the blue symbolising the Korean colours. Now there you have the English with the British flag in, British. This memorial is dedicated to the servicemen from Glasgow area who gave their lives in the Korean War from 1950 to 1953. Not one of them is forgotten before God. Yep, God celebrates and rejoices in the sacrifice, the human sacrifice that the elite morons send people. And I don't know, makes me sick. Now, that isn't John Knox, but it's a big, massive obelisk. This place is full of obelisks. Now, this is the bridge that you go over. Underneath this is a road. I mean, this is Glasgow city centre, folks. I know when the pictures won't look like it, but this is Glasgow city centre. A couple of pictures I do. Now, here's the... Again, I'll be putting these up. This is a placard talking about the people who erected the bridge that we were just walking over. There's a wee map of the area. There's the John Knox statue and Reverend Duncan McFarlane thingamajig. I'll show you that as well. Me and JP actually done most of it today. We really did. There's actually that's the Reverend thing there. From a distance, it does look like a pyramid, the silhouette of it. And today I want to show you, I was actually quite impressed with some of my photography skills, to be honest. Now, let me see. That is John Knox there. I know it doesn't look like it, because you can't see the column he's on, it's hidden by this dome, but that is John Knox. The statue of John Knox in his Geneva gown, holding a Bible in his hand. So again, the light ain't too great on that. That one. That's Glasgow Royal Infirmary, and that's the spire of Glasgow Cathedral there. There's Glasgow Royal Infirmary, a lovely building again. There's a bit, I see, I'm trying to get the light thing sorted. It was a bright day and I've got a crappy wee phone. But again, just point out all the obelisks. I know there's only one there. Oh, there's another one there. But you will see 1,000,001 obelisks floating about the Glasgow I'm going to stop trying to say the word because it's really annoying me now. There's another obelisk. There's JP trying to get out the picture, and I was trying to take a fly picture of him. There's Glasgow Royal Infirmary again. Lovely looking building. There's another obelisk with a cross on top. You really need to go and check this place out. It's quite phenomenal, and I don't think now this just gives you the idea of where this is situated. It's I don't know how's the best way to explain it. It's one. I don't know if it's the highest point within the Glasgow city centre area, but it's definitely one of them. I couldn't see a higher one, and the view of the city is phenomenal, man. This camera won't do it justice, but as you can see, man, the view is quite amazing. And how many obelisks can we see here? Right, let's see how many obelisks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and there's that 16 there. But as you can see, got a feeling in the air, see obelisks everywhere. That's what it was like today. So, and then there you can see the modern day Towers of Babylon, the fucking shitholes that they crammed the population of Glasgow in, the slum towers. More obelisks and Celtic crosses, as you can see. Now that's a good picture of the cathedral. It actually gives it a good idea of how high up and what you're looking down. Now, if you think, obviously this is the opposite end of the front, which I showed you as we were entering, and as you can see what I said, the rear of it is more grand than the front in the sense of scale, and especially when you're up on this hill, you get some view of it. These are just a few wee pictures of the cathedral I took. I will be putting these up on my Facebook. That was like, there's Glasgow Royal Infirmary. Look at the scale of it. That was built in the Victorian era, man, in the 19th century. Phenomenal. And again, there's one obelisk. Pretty sure if I looked harder, I could probably spy a few more. Just some pictures out along. I'll give you a picture along this city skyline. See what I mean by it's kind of at the highest point. There's another picture of the cathedral. Light didn't work too well there. There's a better one. Lighting's a wee bit better there. Gives you a better idea of the scale of Glasgow Cathedral. Phenomenal looking building. This is the John Knox Memorial. I will leave these. Well, as I said, I'll put all these. They'll be up on the video, which is rendering just now. When I put it on my channel, you'll be able to pause it and read this. I'll be doing it in high def. I'll also be putting them on my Facebook. You'll be able to copy them, paste them, and then zoom in and read it all if you do fancy. It's interesting reading if you're into that sort of a stuff. There's a 70-foot monument of John Knox. If you don't know who John Knox is, go and research him, man. Not enough time to go into that just now. So again, it's very hard to give it. It's very hard to give it justice with the scale. There's the Reverend whatever monument as well. So you have John Knox, and then you have a Reverend. Now John Knox, staunch Protestant, head of the Scottish Reformation and the Presbyterian Church in Scotland. If you don't know what the Presbyterian Church is, go and look into them. Go and look what they stand for. I'm not fucking justifying the shit they done. I don't subscribe to any organised religion. Out of all the dominations of Christianity, the teachings that they were teaching at this time, I could more easily subscribe to them. They were against bishops. They were against kings. The king of the castle was God, and they weren't about dripping the churches in gold. They were very much about turning up, and reading the book rather than showing shiny shit and having big fucking lavish fucking pomp ceremonies and stuff. Anyway, wee side note there. Some more pictures of Nish. Now I will get, there's JP showing BBC propaganda sticker in front of John Knox's statue. There's me on my shirt. I was a human billboard today. Easily between 200, 300 and 400 people went through there today and seen me. Easy, and I'm being very conservative with that, man. So here's some pictures of me just under the John Knox statue, my BBC propaganda thing. There's a picture that didn't work out. There's me with a very cheesy smile, fuck's sake. Like, there's the tourists. They were scared to walk around, which was quite funny. I'm like, you just walk in front, man. But anyway, aye. I was hoping they would just see my t-shirt. That's the bridge we walked along on the way in. That's the big fucking group of Italian tourists, big party of Italian tourists, a good 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 deep. And I was just standing there with my BBC propaganda t-shirt on. It's alright, mate, you're okay. I'm taking pictures of you. And there's again, there's the big fucking obelisk. And there's John Knox and the Reverend whatever. Reverend Duncan McFarlane, there you go. Monument. Yeah, there you go. Well, go and look at the video. My haggis is in the freezer. Here's one of the, I don't know the technical name for these, but one of the tombs, let's call it. Actually, I put Knights Templars in the Google search. I put Knights Templars Glasgow Necropolis, and this came up. Not my picture, but other pictures of it. So I need to investigate that more. This was me showing where the Orange Walk was coming. We tight. It was synchronicity. We were under the statue of John Knox, and the Orange Walk started going by, which was very much synchronicity. There's more of the John Knox. So we're walking away. More obelisks, just trying to give some idea of the scale. That's the Tenants Factory, the lovely modern day blight on the fucking landscape. Look at it, man, fucking disgusting. What's it there for? To make fucking beer, to get fucking Glasgow drunk. Happy days. There you go, just millions of obelisks, millions of them. Yeah, not literally millions, but you know what I mean. A couple of big dicks on the fucking up there. There's the chimneys from the Tenants Factory. It's just a wee interesting sign there. This was lowered down. A lot of obelisks again, and Celtic crosses. Again, that's it. There's 1934, so it's quite recent. Oh shit, I didn't mean to get that guy's name in, because that was quite recent, but anyway, just a pretty part. Now this is where I was impressed. I was actually, if you stand in the shadow of the obelisks, and then just sort of, I get your camera just at the point where it, I don't know, I'm quite impressed with myself with those pictures. I took a few, I think. Just the sun. Yes, I'm a sun worshipping obelisk thing. That's just a pretty picture to me, people. These symbols only have the power that you give them. This I thought was quite good because it shows you the obelisk, and I don't know, could you argue it's the shape of a pawn? I don't know, just found it interesting. When we were down Old Monklands Parish Church in Coatbridge the other week, we've seen a lot of chess piece shaped headstones. There was a wee small one. Let's see if we can put a date on it, because some of them are quite recent. 1925, 1913, 1925, 1926. There you go. 1952. So obelisks were getting erected in Glasgow in as early as 1952. There you go, 1952. More obelisks. There's an obelisk up on the ridge. There's two obelisks. They're just literally everywhere. I mean, everywhere. People that are into their Masonic symbolism shall know this shit. And the anchor. I found that very interesting. Headstone, let me see if I can see a date on it. 1874. Right. There's a Knights Templars cross. This was in the back of a tombstone, and on the front of it there were a symbol that was used to separate the lines as such. Could have been interpreted exactly as this symbol, which could be interpreted as a Knights Templars cross. There was just an obelisk up in the sky. Remember, people, the bigger the cock, the more important the person. That's how it works with these things. Just more pictures of gravestones and stuff. There's me trying to take more artistic photographs. I had a grand old day today, man. I need to say that. It was fucking a phenomenal day. There's just a picture trying to give it some scale, all the obelisks in the line, and there's the Glasgow skyline. What a view you've got through there. You can see the whole city. Now, I will dip into the chat. There was Dracula's Dracula's coffin. Obviously, it's a tomb, gravestone, whatever way you want to call it. I'm coming up to the Jesuit. There's that Reverend Duncan McFarlane, I think it is. Now, that's what I was saying earlier on. From a distance in the silhouette, it can be perceived to be a pyramid. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it can look that way from a distance. Here we go. Now, no if, buts, maybes, or fuck all. That is the Jesuit fucking sign, man. Let me show you this now. Above it as well, you've got the pyramid with a ball on it. You have it, the IHS, Isis Horus Set. That stands for, or allegedly stands for, within the Jesuit sign. There's a picture of the tombstone, erected by her son and daughter in memory of fucking something Campbell, died in 1906. So that was a Jesuit that died in 1906. Wife of William Williams, what a name. John Harper died 1888. So this is obviously like a family memorial or whatever. There's another Campbell Harper, October 1913, the earliest date on it. Now, Dean educated me on this one. This writing is actually lead that's put in through holes, as you can see here. Now, lead has a high value in scrap metal. So you get scumbags coming through fucking grave sites, chiseling off these wee small bits of fucking lead to go and punt. Horrible, I know. But anyway, there was that William Alistair Campbell, 1884. For God took he. And as you can see, that was actually a bit broken off. We couldn't figure out where it came from, actually. It didn't come off the top, because the top has broke, but the top that broke off there is lying behind it, as you can see there. In the way, now listen to this, IHS Celtic Cross. Now, I'm sure I took a better picture of that, but you can see the cross there, the symmetrical cross, rather than the elongated one, and you've got the circle around it. Now, throughout this fucking cemetery, all you do is get obelisks and Celtic crosses. Another obelisk with a Celtic cross next to it. Now, alright, well, what I wanted to quickly do, what I'll do, quickly bounce out of that. She'll go into the chat room, see who's in the chat room. How yous all doing, folks, man? Didn't realise the chat was so busy, actually. But let me see. James Owen, mate, you need to meet up with me and fucking teach me how to say that stupid fucking word. How you doing, Dino? Showing you what you've got to look forward to next time you're up this side of the border, man. How you doing, DJ Moore? Oshiwan, the Lion of Egypt on top. Shit, man, I'm reading this out of context, mate, so I've missed it. But I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying I missed it. There's so much to fucking see that you do miss quite a lot. So, cheers for the input, Oshiwan. I'll actually have a wee look through them again and see. Yeah, it's pretty clear down south last couple of weeks. Yep, the weather's not been too shabby recently, folks. That one he's talking about is amazing, Dean. There are deer running out of context, link fresh fast food. The tower is an octagon with a hexagon on top. Shit. Oshiwan, we need to get you in. Obelisk equals Pharaoh cock equals seed and liege. Necropolis. Brilliant! I think I've got it. Necropolis. I need to write that down because there's a fucking phonetic way that I can actually say the fucking word. Cheers, Jamesy boy. Got there in the fucking end, man. Where the fuck was that? There we go. I'm actually really writing this down. Shit. Crop. Shit, fuck off. Necrop. There we go. Cheers, Jamesy boy. Lineage, aye, that makes more sense. I shit an obelisk this morning. Groovy Dodger. I'd go and get your arsehole fucking checked out, mate, if you're shitting out square ones, man. War monuments. Can't wait to see it, Kip. Yeah, do you know, man? Mate, honestly, you don't even need to take pictures. You can just go up to the John Knox monument, man. That's the peak, and you can sit down there and have a picnic and whatnot, man. It's not frowned upon. All the tourists go up there and stuff, and then you can sit there and talk about putting your haggis in the freezer in front of all the Italians and stuff, which was quite funny, man. It fucking cracked me up, man. Me and JP had a scream the day. It was fucking hilarious, man. James Owen said he worked at Royal. Stunning building, Jamesy boy. It is a stunning building, man. You don't see many fucking modern day buildings that you could imagine being around in a couple hundred years without them wanting to blow it the fuck up. DJ Moore saying he's doing good. Nice to hear, my man. How you doing, Kendall? Can't agree. Kip, love my tea. Good evening. Are your tea, your tenants? Mate, I'd be lying if I said I don't drink tenants either, man. What fucking annoyed me is just how fucking it should be put in the middle of fucking, I don't know, London or something and transported back up. Because it fucking looks like a monstrosity, especially when you're around. I mean, even in one of the videos today, I was saying, can you imagine what that looked like before they started building modern day Babylon around us, man? How you doing, Cookie? Nice to see you in, man. Del Boy, how you doing, Del Boy? Long time no speak, my friend. Oshiwan, how you doing? Madonna's ex, how you doing? Keep it down, Kip. I've got neighbours. Turn the volume down, Madonna's ex. I've got neighbours too as well, but I think they've moved out by now. Hi there. There's Del Boy saying hi to Kendo. What did I miss? More stone cutter headstones. Oshiwan, out to everyone and their cat. Hey Cookie, how you doing? Cool, out till Fluffy. Jesus, using the chat know more about each other than I do, man, but that's that's a positive thing. It means you're actually chatting and interacting, which fucking is brilliant, man. Madonna's ex has got Ebola. See, when I heard them talking about Ebola, I thought that was Cameroon's fucking head striker. But anyway, it helps balance the entropy. Shit, I can't read. Shit, where the fuck was I? Hi, Sue's like, yeah, where the fuck was I? Yep, I did last night, ended up with, hi Dean Good Show, how you doing, Del Boy? Thanks, Del. I'm sure dropped by probably late with a note for my mum. For those who appreciate the hangouts, please check out There's a link Cookie's putting in. I'd assume put in your YouTube before that, then the /, the /, and the rest of it. Go and check that stuff out, man. It's all about sharing the wealth in it, man. Go and check out everybody that's doing good work out there, man. It's got to be done. Picnic in a bong. Aye, Dean, damn right, man. I'll take my wee poofy pink bong up again, man. Real people talking reality. It's the only way to do it, Cookie, innit? You're back on that, Cookie. Also, Rosicrucian cross. Are you talking about the Celtic cross, Kendall? Free Palestine, fuck the banksters funding Hamas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, spot on, Madonna's ex, Del Boy, we should chat more relevant stuff, Rolla, Ebola, penny a pinch. Open up the link for later, Cookie. So thanks to everybody in the chat room. Oh shit, I just realised I wasn't screen sharing the chat there, but who cares? Now, what I wanted to do was Jesuits. Just wanted to show you, because I can actually add a few wee tuppence worth. I've said this before, but whether people have heard it or are reminded of it, who knows. So there's the IHS. Shit, I wish I fucking... Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to upload this picture onto my Facebook, because it's not a screen share, it's like a browser share, if that makes any sense to folk. Fuck, everything's running slow as shit. I'm doing too many things at once here, but I shall persevere. But anyway, there's the Jesuit. IHS allegedly stands for Isis Horus Set, and there's the cross above it. What are these three weird things below it? I wonder, well, that represents the 3 nails that Jesus was nailed to the cross with. That's why, now, I've said this to somebody before, and I'd like to know whether, is there anybody ever been in court and they've had the funny man in the funny suit, also known as a judge or a sheriff, go, I've heard in rumour that, if you notice, it's always three hits. Order, order! It's always 3 hits. Apparently that's meant to be a dig at nailing Jesus to the cross. Boom, boom, boom. 3 nails, because as legend would have it, what was it, the gypsy guy that made the nails to nail Jesus to the cross made 4 crosses. Shit, I'm forgetting the shit now. 2 for his arms, 1 for his legs, and was it 1 for his heart or something? 1 for his neck, or 1 for the sign above him. I forgot the fucking legend now, but go and check it out. But that is the 3 crosses, the below the sun sign, and just coincidentally, let's have a wee look at number 10 Downing Street and see what we can see. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Don't know what happened there. But anyway, let's see if I can get a wee picture on this. I know there is a few that actually do. Aye. That doesn't work, you can't zoom in the picture. But, shit, how am I going to do this? See that wee bit there? You can see the Jesuit. Oh shit, did I fucking get rid of that? Let's see if I can get that picture up now. Nah, my processor is getting raped. But as you can clearly see there, the Jesuit symbol, 9 times out of 10 will have 1 straight line and 1 wavy line, 1 straight line, 1 wavy line. This one here as well also has the cross above it, and then the IHS, and then the three nails come across to number 10 Downing Street. You probably can't see it, but let's go and check it out yourselves, folks. The Jesuit sign is above number 10 Downing Street. Shows you who's in fucking charge. And I've went and looked at historical pictures. See there as well. Go and look at this yourself. Copy the fucking picture, download it onto your computer, zoom in, and you'll see the Jesuit sun symbol is there back in the day. I've not been able to find a picture of number 10 without it being there, and I've looked at the oldest pictures of number 10 I can find. Can't remember there. You can quite clearly see it there. The cross coming up, and then the wavy line, then the straight line, which is, I would argue, disguised as the frame of the window, and so on and so forth as it goes round. The Jesuit sign is above number 10, folks. Why, there's a good one, actually. You can go, fuck, that is a cracker. That is a cracker one. Surely you can see it there. The cross, and then there's the wavy line, then the wavy line. And now, I don't know, for me, that is 99.9% fucking spot on the button. Jesuit symbol. And then you bounce along to Glasgow Necropolis. Yes, I think I'm learning. You bounce along to Glasgow Necropolis, just need to say it quickly, and you have Isis, Horus, Set. I mean, can anybody like sort of offer up an alternative explanation to what I'm trying to say here? I mean, is there one? Am I saying things that aren't here, or am I pointing out the fucking obvious when you've got the eyes to see? Isis, Horus, Set. You've got a nice wee triangle and the all-seeing eye of the circle on top as well, just to set it off. As I said, you can clearly see that's broken. I checked this out today. That is the bit that's broken off, lying behind it. It's the commonly known as the Celtic cross. I think it was Kendall saying it. I think, if I'm putting this together right, I think Kendall was saying as well it's a Rosicrucian cross. That's out with my knowledge base, Kendall, so I'll definitely need to brush up on that. That's for sure. For me, I don't know. That kind of blew me away, seeing the Jesuit sign fucking out in the open. Jesuit buried here. Anyway, what was his name? Campbell Harper. Oh no, there was a lot of names actually. Erected by her son and daughter. So, that's the same thing. So let's go through this, see what else we can see. That's that's some tourists having a wee look around. Now this was inside one of the tombs. It has a gate put up, obviously, and got all your cider bottles, all your shit that people have used it as a bin, basically. Hold on, getting a Skype through. Oh, nice one, Dino. Gurney Journey. Gravestone as chess pieces. Nice one, man. Cheers, Dean. As we've seen in a couple of recent posts, right, let's see, what's Gurney Journey? This is a blog spot. I've seen in a couple of recent posts, the thought process always comes before the painting. Everything depends on your initial thought or feeling. You may decide to go for a photographic accuracy, or you may want to something in the forum. As we saw yesterday, one guiding thought is to rearrange the elements to convey an idea. I show you this painting of an Irish graveyard a while ago, but now I want to see what the actual view looks like. Right, so there's the picture and there's the actual view. Not a hop, skip and a jump away, right? But let's see what he's saying. I returned to the same churchyard. From the painting, I was inspired to express something deeper emotion. The painting would be upcoming. Trying to sell you a book. The graves belong to the Corey family of Killaboy, County Clare. Michael, 1985. So yeah, there you go. Something about the thing made his chess pieces. There's Dino sending us through something else. Let's take a shifty at that. Let's see what's happening. Gravestones as chess pieces. Painting is easy, as we've seen in a couple of guiding thoughts to rearrange elements. Do you know, that seems to just be a wee sort of excerpt of what we were kind of looking at there. Oh shit, I just realised that I hadn't stopped. Wasn't doing the proper screen share. Fuck. Sorry. Anyway, I read it out. Sorry, Dean, I forgot to fucking change the screen share. Anyway, that's 1849, the date on that. So as you can see, very much a Victorian place. Charles Tennant. And he's just up for the Tennant's factory of St. Rollix, died 1839. Erected by a few of his friends as a tribute of respect. Looks chill. He looks quite chilled out, doesn't he? Hey, man. I'm dead, but I'm chilling. And there's like your Celtic, or I might be educated today, in the sense of Rosicrucian cross, and all your obelisks in the background as well. And then there's, you've got your modern day Towers of fucking Babylon, where they put the fucking poor to die. But I actually think they're uninhabited now. I don't know for a fact, but I think they may actually be marked for. Here's some tourists probably looking at me as if I'm mad because I'm walking around with a BBC sign on my on my t-shirt. Here's the back end of John Knox's statue with obelisks and the Celtic crosses. Actually ended up getting a couple decent shots of John Knox, his statue, a couple of close-up ones. Here they come here. There's a good one there. So that's John Knox with his Geneva gown on and his Bible in his hand. There's the top of Reverend, was it fucking something McFarlane? Oh. Me getting the whole, trying to get the scale in, but that really doesn't do it justice. 70 foot tall, that is. That's me just realising the great idea, why don't I actually put my phone on the side? And it worked. You get quite a good shot there. Oh, fuck. And is that John Knox? No, it's not John Knox. It's another monument in the graveyard. That's the cathedral. Very bad light. As you can see, I wasn't lying when I was saying the fucking bad weather was coming in. Like 2 seconds. Close your eyes and open them again, and it was blue skies. That's Glasgow for you, man. And there was the Knights Templars cross on the way out as well, for valour. In honour of Glaswegians awarded the Victorian Cross for valour, this memorial was erected by the City Council. It's the City Corporation. Go and check that out, man. Glasgow never used to work in cloak and daggers with this shit. They actually used to be man enough to call it the Glasgow Corporation. This was when we came. This was a picture I took when we were walking back. I actually walked a wee bit of the city that I'd never been in. the student grounds in and around Strathclyde University, which coincidentally is right next to Glasgow Cathedral. It's been there for a long time. And I was in doing a pish, and the billboards that they put in front of you when you're pishing, for me, one of the most successful advertising spots you can get. I seen this, and this goes like, "Hey, swipey, put all your money on. Who needs cash? So check out the tablet on the counter. That's you getting reward for being an awesome. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. An awesome customer. Best of all, it's free. All you have to do is sell your soul. It doesn't cost you fuck all. Swipeycard.com. Woohoo! I mean, see how so pretty they make it sound just to fucking put your fucking life on a wee RFID chip card. This is a cracking one. This is a wee church on Cathedral Street. As you can see, it's Destiny's Angels. Need someone to listen? To lend you a hand? No strings attached? BBC propaganda! BBC propaganda! I need to admit that was JP's idea to put that on there. And then for just a very big coincidence, just like the coincidence of Jimmy Savile's links to the Royals and and Parliament. It's just a coincidence. Big Dave again just popped up and slapped the sticker on this bad boy, man. I cannot be held accountable for Big Dave. Aye, so this was just doing a wee bit more advertising. And again, doing another push, and I thought, and this shows you how much Big Dave must be like Mystic Meg, man. This guy knows what I'm thinking. And I went into this toilet, and Big Dave had been there before me, and put the BBC propaganda thing. And this was in the count house, and then we're back to the beginning. So yeah. I shall be sticking those bad boys up on the Facebook. I tried it earlier on, but I had a fucking brain fart and wouldn't finish uploading. Now, what time of the night's that? Fuck, it's 2 in the morning. Fuck me. Right, so I'm going to dip into the chat. Fuck if I can find it. Where's the chat? Right, let's see if I can find out where the hell I was. See if I can get back to. Well, actually. So you can see. So you can see what I can see. Ah, there was Dale Boy evening. How you doing? How you doing? I read that stuff. Thanks, Dean. Same sweet. For those who appreciate the hangouts, went to that stage. Madonna, yep, read that. Madonna's ex. Groovy Dodger, yep. Dale Boy opened up the link for later, Cookie. Hopefully it'll be joining tomorrow, Cookie. Good stuff. Hey guys, make sure to thumbs up. Cheers, dear G. Moore. Good stuff. Reaching across the globe. That's what the interwebs were invented for, Cookie. That's why they're trying to fucking box us off. That's why when you go into your fucking YouTube, you have to go down to this bit and choose your country. You need to take yourself out the fucking pigeonhole they're trying to put yourself in. And every time you clear your cookies, make sure you go back down and click this bit here and select worldwide, so you're not put into, you're put into less of a pigeonhole by the fucking boob tube. Good call, DJ. I always thumbs up, Dale Boy. UNP, Ukraine Nazi Party. Above the door, Azakadazi Nazi. You see it now. We all saw Azakanazi. It's because the Nazi Jews. Link to taking over Ukraine. You see it now. Gurney Journey Blogspot. There's Dean putting the link in for everybody. Kendo, the dimensions of the entrance portal will match a geometric reference in the Masonic lodges. Yeah, Kendo, man. I don't know. I don't have that knowledge myself, but I know it's very much fucking all based around geometry. To my best knowledge, the G in the Masonic symbol doesn't stand for God. It stands for geometry, which the Masons believe is the God of the universe. Fuck up Israel, Ukraine, back door for Nazis. Is anyone going to jump in with Kip? Well, what I was going to say actually is I've done my wee fucking pictures and whatnot. So what I'm going to do now, and right, I'm going to put a time limit on it, man. I'll see how it goes and shit, man, until my eyes start closing and stuff. But I'm going to put the link for the hangout down below now. So if anybody wants to bounce in and give me their tuppence worth, Kendo, if you want to bounce in, my friend, impart your knowledge. Everybody that was in the chat there that was saying stuff that was above my head, man, batter in and let us know, because that's what it's all about, man. I'm not here to preach. I did want a wee fucking section to to just fucking rant on about the pictures and stuff. But there we go. If you go and refresh your browser, the Google Hangouts link is now available in the About section. So anybody want to bounce in for a wee bit, fuck, I'll say now, no longer than 50 minutes and stuff. I'll see how it goes, man, until my eyes start closing over. But anybody wants to bounce in, everybody's welcome. Everybody's always welcome, so batter in. It's there for you, so why don't you pop along and say hi? Definitely more than welcome. Because my plan, well, I was actually thinking open the room up. If nobody's wanting to get involved, I was going to call it to a halt, because I've rattled on as much as I can rattle on right now. Thank you, Daiz, back. Octopus, Swipey the octopus sucking on students. Shit, I need to get one of those bad boys up to get it away again. He's a great guy, mate. I had a day in Glasgow with him. Who's that, Dean? Who have you been up and fucking seen? Who have you been up in Glasgow seen behind my back, man? That's out of order. Shit. How you doing, Jean? Pretty pups. Didn't know that, Kip. Cheers. Fuck. I don't know what you didn't know, James. That's the problem with a wee small delay. My fucking short-term memory problems and reading the links out a wee bit late, reading the comments out a wee bit late and stuff. But evening to everybody in the chat. Hi to you all. Hope I've mentioned you all. Jean, Dean, Jamesy boy, DJ Moore, Kendo. Do bear in mind the links below for everybody that wants to come in and part of. Fuck, even if it's just to say hi, feel free to bounce in. Chilling like a villain. Did you catch it? But me and JP were up there chilling like a villain for a wee bit. It was so funny, man. We were just sitting down at the bottom of the base of the John Knox statue, rolling a few fags and whatnot, and sitting. And you know me, I'm quiet as fuck. So all the tourists were coming by. Honestly, I didn't hear any Scots people up there. The only two Scots people I think me and JP came across up there the day was this guy and this drunken lassie who were blatantly shagging in the bushes, which was fucking hilarious. It was this bit down the bottom of the fucking grave yard, and me and JP are walking up, and I'm wandering everywhere taking pictures of all sorts of crap, and fucking this lassie, honestly, she couldn't walk in a straight line. She must have seen us and think we were coming to bust them or something, or coming to take pictures of them, but they were hiding in a wee sort of a secluded area. The great, oh, fucking hell, man, that was loud. Whoa. So, and these two people were obviously fucking shagging in the bushes, man. Yo, Dino, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, mate. You're coming across loud and... Whoa.
Just give us a second, mate.
No worries,
I'm on my laptop.
Oh, I've lost audio, Dean.
Oh,
no, that's it back, man. How you doing, anybody alright?
No.
Hello, can you hear me? I've got your audio, Dean. You can hear me, man. Right, I'm going to just turn you down a wee bit, mate, until you can hear me, mate. I can hear you, buddy. So just Control Alt Delete until you can hear me, man. Oh shit! Have you dropped out, Dean? Oh, Dean's dropped out. Fuck. Dean, get yourself back in when you can, buddy. There we go. So, if there's anybody want to bounce in the chat, please do so within the next 5-10 minutes, because I will be calling this a night. Swipey the octopus sucking on students. Okay, Dean, thank you. I will watch his video for years. I think kicks ass. I don't kick ass. Cheers, DJ Moore, by the way. Sorry. Thanks, man. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how to take compliments. Shit, I think I read that stuff. So, how you doing? Quick, someone get in there. I want to chill for another hour. There's Huxley in. How you doing, Huxley? Oshi1 Tech is fucking about. I don't know, man. For what I've noticed in the last day or two, Chrome seems to be having a brain fart now. Firefox seems to be working best for me just now when it comes to the Google Hangouts. So Dino, get yourself back in if you can, mate. I know you're on your laptop and stuff, and that's been giving you fucking jip in the last day or two, man. So get yourself back in if you can, man. Oshi1, I'm diseased, homeless, benefit sanctioned, and 18 months sober. Nice one. Do you have to stop completely? Fucking sanctions. Here, folks, man, I'm sorry to say it, man. Count yourself lucky if you're only getting fucking sanctioned. The motherfuckers are just cutting people off with the neck. I'm talking through experience here, man. The motherfuckers are going all out to fucking make people go and top themselves, man. DJ Moore, hell, this is my third channel. I have subbed to you on Freedom now. How you doing, mate? Aye, DJ Moore, I can remember chatting to you quite a lot, my friend. Tried the hangout, not working. Fuck, James. I think it was Dean that was chatting to you last night, mate. He was telling you about trying to try Firefox and stuff. I don't know. Firefox just seems to be working best for me just now. And I ain't sponsored by them, and as far as I'm aware, Firefox is one of the most secure things. It's meant to be open source and stuff, but I think they're all fucking insecure as each other. I just think some of them work better than others. Anybody bounced? Oh, there's one of them. We've got two. There's Kendo and Dean. Fuck, wasn't even looking at the chat there. Kendo, my friend, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. Still trying to revive from last night. That went on a little while.
I seen the hangout was it over 3 hours long. He's done on Dean's, man. I was dipping in and out at wee bits and bobs. So what time did you call it quits at? Was that like, what, 4 in the morning or something?
Yeah, well.
Is that why you're having another late one tonight?
No, I was going to go to bed, but I thought, nah.
Life's for the living. Welcome, mate. So I don't know, Kendall, was it yourself that was talking about the Rosicrucian cross?
Yes. If you just Google Rosicrucian cross, you get straight away. There's like a row of pictures of the crosses, and it's similar to your Celtic cross, but in the wiki bit, in the one underneath, it's all about Freemasonry and 18 degrees Knight of the Rose Cross Jewel and all that jazz. So I thought that'd get you nice and sparkly this evening.
Nice one. I'm getting that up right now. So let me bounce into the old screen share and stuff.
Yeah.
How's the mothership, Dean? Is it working now?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm coming across. How's it sounding?
It's not on, mate. Far better than it was the first bit there, man. When you first kicked in, it just seemed dead loud, and then obviously I don't think you heard me. But that sounds spot on the now, Dean, as it is, man. So stick with the settings you've got, mate.
Well, I'm actually crashed out in bed.
I thought that, Dean. It looks like have you got the laptop on your chest, one of those ones?
No, it's the side of me. I'm I'm sort of like about 4 foot above ground me.
How you doing anyway, buddy? All right?
Yeah, sound of the pound, mate. Could be better. I'm like up here. I don't think you can see.
Rosicrucianism.
Look at that. You know that artwork that was on the wiki page, Kip? Have a look at that. Because that looks interesting to me, because artwork usually says everything. And
it looks very similar to a lot of the things I was seeing today. A lot of them. And what's that? The Temple of the Rose Cross. 1680, 1618. Daniel died in Butts back. He was an alchemist. He was a magician. Butts back. That's funny. Was an alchemist and a Rosicrucian, personal physician and court astronomer of Philippe III, Landgrave of Hesse. Butts back. From 1621 to 1635, he's believed to have written Spectrum, that thing, the Mirror of the Wisdom of the Rosy Cross in 1618 under the pseudonym of that dude. And fucking that. Rosa Florence, 1617, under the pseudonym of that good as well. He translated Philip Sidney's novel Arcadia into the German language. So probably your olden day versions of the BBC propaganda writers. Been back in the day when it was only the illuminated ones that were literate. I was actually watching a programme about Chinese art the other day, and I can't remember the terms they were using, so I don't know why I'm bringing this up. But they were talking, they were talking about the class of people that they were the scholars and the artists in the ancient Chinese culture. There was no difference between writing and drawing; it was one and the same. In modern day, we have like artists and we have wordsmiths or novelists or whatever. In the ancient Chinese culture, they were one and the same. You had no. There was no separation there. You were a scholar and an artist at the same time. And if you go looking back at the ancient Chinese art and whatnot, it always has your Chinese writing. Well, I suppose Chinese writing is. You have to have an artistic merit to be able to fucking write the Chinese writing, I suppose. So I'm going to definitely go and check out the Rosy Cross stuff, man. Because Jesus, check the symbolism fucking out in that stuff, man. Fucking believable. Anyway, guys, I know Cookie. I know you're in the. I seen you were in the chat, mate. I don't know if you want to bounce in for a wee 50 minutes or so, man, just before we call it a night.
A wee 50 minutes or so.
Famous last words, man. Famous last words. But I do actually feel my eyes crossed, and I was kind of hoping to stay up and start uploading my video of all the stuff today, but I don't think I'll be able to do it. I'm having a wee look at my Sony Vegas here, and there's still fucking 3 hours of rendering to do, so I think I'll leave that on overnight and pick that up in the morning. So nobody new in the chat, but hi to everybody in the chat. Huxley, I see you're in the chat, mate. You've not bounced into one of the hangouts for a while, man. Del Boy, you as well. Why don't you bounce in? Give us a quick hello, man. Even if it's just to tell us how you are doing, man. More than welcome. I've ran out of things to say, to be honest. So the floor's over to everybody else that bounces in here, because
do you know them pictures? That video you put up today. That it was a cast iron monument.
Aye.
That did look like marble, you know, when it was cracked, because you had like a powdering effect of the marble as well.
Right.
Corner. So it could have been like just the 3 false cast iron sides, and then a marble front. Because cast would have abundance in them days, you know what I mean? It was a main.
I thought it was really strange, Dean. I've never ever seen a headstone cast in iron. Was I right in presuming it was iron?
Oh yeah, cast iron. Yeah, it's just you put cork in it and that. It's when you break it open, you see little black bits in it. With that, you could hit that one hammer and it'll break. It's that brittle. Because you put, I'm sure it's cork this will win it. I can't remember, to tell you the truth. I'd have to drop back and look on it. Cookie or no, it is cork in it, Cookie, what they put into cast iron. They used to put cork and lime and something else in it, didn't they? Into cast iron.
I missed slightly, like the last
however many seconds of what you were saying as like joining the chat room compared to the YouTube stream. Coke in iron.
No,
Yeah.
cork. Was it coke or cork?
Cork. C-O-K-E. Yeah, it's like a form of coal. Yes, they did to try and refine it because it adds more carbon to it. That's basically how you get steel. The finer amount of carbon and the more impurities you draw out of the iron, that's what actually graduates it into steel. Yeah. And if you're referencing, because I said I missed a little bit of what you were saying, I think you were talking about the cast iron gravestone or obelisk or whatever it was. Yeah. I thought when I was listening to you banging on it, and that did make me wince a little bit, like, and you don't want to be knocking on gravestones, but you know, especially one like that, yeah. What I thought it probably was is 4 columns are iron, and they had a marble slab for each side, and that is again more likely deliberate, symbolic, alchemical, and geometrical geomancy, basically. Think of Ghostbusters. The building and the way they deliberately built the building to be a focus. That looked very interesting in that sense. It might be something worth investigating to check out the names that were on it, stuff like that. It looked to me like it was 3-sided cast and just a one-face marble. Because as he went round and he knocked on one side, it were actually rusty and the paint were peeling off as well. So, yeah, I thought it was strange. I've seen them with 4 marble slabs in, not as big as that, but I've never seen one 3-sided cast and a face marble. I didn't realise it was 3-sided.
I think
I mean it was 4-sided, but it had 3 sides cast and one face marble. That's what I meant. Oh, so was that marble face the one with the engraving on it? And if so, that might have been why it was a marble facing, so that they could do the inscribing. Yeah, because cast is a bit of a you can't engrave cast really, can you? No, you have to cast it with letters. Yeah, you have to cast the cast letters. Yeah.
What I got from the video was the overwhelming amount of symbolism. Oh, and if that Celtic stroke Rosicrucian cross, I mean, you know what they're like for putting stuff in your face, but meaning something else. We're all thinking, oh, it's a Celtic cross. But if it's a reference to the Rosicrucian side of it, then that's a direct link to the geometric mystic masonry mob. And there you go, look. There you go. There you go. So we're walking around a graveyard, and even in death, the symbolism is left there as a legacy. And as you're all walking around, that's what I noticed most. And I know, it was just the blatant symbolism of what was going on from those dead people, from that era.
Yeah. What did you think about the Jesuit symbol popping up, fucking plain as day on one of those bad boys, and it had a Celtic Rosicrucian cross on the top of it, which had fallen off? That blew me away, man. I couldn't
Stay there where you are, Kip. There you are. See, now, number 10, dimensions of a door. Did you see that with the circle?
This one here?
There you go. There's your sacred dimension of a doorway. It's extended down a little bit further, but that across there and down, that's it's all worked out from that circle and that triangle, and it's geometry.
Yeah. Square and circle. That goes back to Pythagoras and then even Apollo and stuff as well, man. Square and the circle.
But the Egyptians used that formula to work out portals to whatever structures they were doing. So obviously it's passed on, and it's gained a little bit of magic and mystery around it, and you know, they're using it as a form of symbolism now. There's one of the churches that's in the Vatican somewhere, and there's a video online on YouTube you can watch and look at the inside of this place. This is like one of, I think it's the Holy Sepulchre. And
there's a picture there that I came up with the Rosicrucian cross, and then underneath it's got the phoenix, and then if you look at the phoenix's children, is it any surprise there's 7? Just like there's 7 heads of the Tower of Babylon, man. But I just noticed that there myself, man. I'll need to dip into this Rosicrucian cross a wee bit more at some point as well, man.
Yeah. I think Holy Sepulchre is absolutely oozing symbolism, and most of it is Saturnalia, which is, I know that's a different avenue, but like that's the Catholic stuff, Saturnalia. But it's, again, this massive onslaught of if you're innocent, you're walking around, your subconscious is being bombarded by certain symbols, and it's the same in that graveyard. All the time, you're just walking around looking at a few graves, but your subconscious is being bombarded by the symbolism of the DOS bags who have like fucked it up for us and my grandkids.
I'm gonna go and grab more coffee. I'll be back in a second.
Kendo, see what you're saying there. There's an amazing picture there, in the sense that you've got your traditionally, let's say, your Christian cross, and then around it you have the rose, or the round rose, the circle of the roses, which again makes very much exactly the Celtic cross we're seeing, where you have the traditional Christian cross and then the circle before it, after it, or joined on, whatever way you want to describe it. That's quite a good image. Then you've got your star with the geometry behind it, man.
And we're hip with this. I mean, even, you know, on the backs of buses, sides of lorries, all over the place. Different kinds of symbolism, and that's what's feeding. I don't know. Have you any of you seen the film They Live?
Aye. Why do you think I wear the sunglasses?
Well, yeah.
I can see the bastards.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss though, because I spent a very, very large part of my life not watching telly.
Well, They Live. When you wear these sunglasses, you can see it for what it is. And there's a scene in it. He walks into a bank with the sunglasses on, and he's got a shotgun, and he can see these alien creatures and all the subliminal signs that the others can't see. And there's like obey, sleep, read, do whatever anyway. And he walks through the door and he goes, I have come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. And he starts popping them all up.
You know, I would advise you to check that movie out, mate. It will blow you away. It's got Rowdy Roddy Piper in it, and I think it was the 84 or something, Mark Kendall.
Yeah. I remember watching it on telly one Sunday afternoon with the kids, and I thought, wow, this is good.
It very often gets uploaded to YouTube, very often. So if you do a search, you will more than likely find a complete unedited version of it. And if you get the download apps and whatever, just grab it. If you don't find it first time, just check again at a later date, because people upload it all the time because it keeps getting knocked down.
Will somebody message me the name of the film on Skype? Because
I'll do it right, you know.
I haven't got a pen here. Obviously, I'm in my pit. So,
Liv, even if you forget, Dino, just give us a shout when you're up and about, man, and I'll remind you, man.
Well, what happens if I forget?
Well,
it's one of the classics, and it's another one of the Carpenter lineage. John Carpenter. As far as I remember, it was him, wasn't
it? Pass. Probably. I don't know. I'm not really into directors and stuff.
Yep. Writers. Ray Nelson and John Carpenter has done the screenplay. So the writer was Ray Nelson, short story, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then John Carpenter done the screen share according to IMDb. And it had Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestler, in it, which is quite funny.
I thought there's a very interesting subcultural connection there between the propaganda machine that is the wrestling industry, whether it be WWE or WWF or whatever acronym they decide to use at the moment. It was very much a subcultural vehicle, because I reckon that the producers, Carpenter and whatever, and the other guys in it knew that somebody like Rowdy Roddy Piper, who at the time was really popular in a kind of underdog hero fashion with the general public, would give it just enough kudos or street cred to pull in a general audience, but not the real mainstream Hollywood audience. And Carpenter is really clever with his films like that. You'll find a lot of them that you may never have heard of, that you won't have seen on a big screen. They wouldn't have been shown on a cinema, but they're so relevant. Another one is After Dark. Is it After Dark or Before Dark, about the vampires? Yeah, John Carpenter has left us a very, very interesting lineage of movies and storylines and observations, loads of good stuff. If you're into that kind of cultural media and the use of media as a propaganda or subliminal message carrier, he's a very interesting guy to look into. I'd recommend watching all his films, because there's something in all of them.
I don't know if you can see that picture for the film, but is that a picture for the film, or is that Steve Jobs?
No, that's a marketing meme rip-off.
I thought it was Steve Jobs.
Yeah, that's what I meant to think. So that you plant apple in your head. You see what I mean?
Aye.
I tried watching that Dune today, Cocky.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it. I'll try again, but I
told you. It is a big major epic, and when you compare it to the books, the film should have been about 6 hours long. It's like The Lord of the Rings. It's one of those massive mega stories that they then try and compress into something that they can put on a big screen.
Yeah. It's just the age and the acting as well. It's a bit...
It's very 80s, yeah.
It's a bit, my wallpaper acts better. I'm not a great lover of actors anyway myself, you know what I mean? I never have been. Like I just said to these, I've spent a massive part of my life cooking and not watching telly. Just out of choice, just never interests me. And papers, I've never read papers. I've only bought one in my life. One newspaper. Strange, innit? I've always called them propaganda. Ever since I was like 13, 14-year-old. Just called them propaganda, not fit for wiping your ass on.
I buy one, in terms of newspapers, I buy one occasionally. I use it for the cat litter tray. Just the only thing I buy them for.
Just stop
it. Fish and chips count?
Just stop a bus, Cookie. Stop a bus, step on it, get a paper and say, "Oh, sorry mate, wrong bus," and get off with paper.
Yeah, I've done that quite a lot as well.
Saves you buying it then, doesn't it? You've got free propaganda. I've noticed with the Metro paper as well, the ink doesn't come off on your hands as much. It must be dearer ink.
Well, I remember
it don't come off on your arse as well.
I remember with the Metro, like it's very traditionally read in the morning when people are going to work, and back in the day before I started wearing sunglasses and I was going to work and stuff, I'd always turn up to work with bloody newsprint all over my face because I'd be reading the Metro in the morning and then sort of I tried going to sleep in the bus. I'd end up with newsprint covered all over my face. But then I bought some sunglasses and lightened up.
I've got transitions.
I got transitions.
I am serious. No. Yeah. Transitions.
I was thinking about something else. Doesn't matter.
Right. They're all right, but when you come in from where it's been sunny, you can't see fucking anything, and I'm like, where is everything? So I have to take them off till they go clear again.
When I started doing the hangouts and stuff, I never really, when I started doing my YouTube videos, I never bothered with sunglasses. And then I done it a few times, and I annoyed people so much that I just kept doing it. Oh, why are you wearing sunglasses inside? I'm just telling you that they're setting up secret courts in the fucking UK, and you're talking about me wearing a pair of sunglasses, you tit.
I remember that on videos. Why are you wearing sunglasses? Because I suffer with migraines.
He's got fucking lizard eyes.
Yeah. Don't want you to see my true colours.
But do you know, if you do end up making your way up this side of the border, mate, sometime soon, we'll definitely go to the Necropolis, man, and check it out, mate. You could literally spend the whole day up there, no problem at all. I mean, there's a million and one things to see, man.
Well, my new camera should be here next week, so I think I should be up the weekend after.
No worries, man.
May as well use. I haven't got shows in these buggers or anything, but may as well kick the ass out of that mega buzz on her. You know what I mean? It's cheaper than going a night out, Kit. You know what I mean? If I went for a night out around Bolton, I'm guaranteed to spend, after saving up for a while to do it as well, I'm guaranteed to spend a 1 or 120 on a night out. You know what I mean? Whereas that is my fur on the weekend up there as well. You know what I mean? So.
And mate, listen, see, today it cost me the grand price of £4.10. That was from an all-day ticket. Done a bit of running about in the morning, and I'm like, I'm not letting my all-day ticket go to waste. I'm going through it in the Necropolis, and I'm so glad I done it. And the fact, honestly, it was so weird that we're sitting up at the John Knox thing, and the fucking orange walk just starts walking by underneath, man. Couldn't believe it. It was so funny, man.
I'll tell you what, you just reminded me. You know the first buzzies?
Yep.
I'm not sure, but if you get an any buzz saver, I know my mate used to go from Bolton over to Yorkshire with it, to the far side of Yorkshire. Now, it's first buzzies, any buzz saver, yeah? So you, in theory, should be able to travel from Glasgow to Bolton or Bolton to Glasgow on that day saver.
Right.
Or a weekly saver for any buzz. Because it's still a first ticket and it's still first buzzes that you're going to connect with everywhere in it.
Well,
You know
the
what
way
I mean?
it works up here, right? You've got like I was born and bred in Cumbernauld, and my mum still stays up there. That's like sort of a small town outside Glasgow, let's say. And if I can spend £4.10 and travel all around Glasgow as much as I want. But if the second I want to go to Cumbernauld, the £4.10 turns into £5.50 because it's a different zone. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's because it's called an any buzz saver. It's like a System 1, what they call it. So you buy a System 1, it allows you on all the first buzzies and some of the stagecoach as well.
I just noticed Daiz bounced in the room, man. How you doing, buddy?
Alright, Kip, how you doing? How you doing, lads? Hope everybody's well, man.
You alright, buddy? Hux has joined us as well, Kit.
Oh, nice one, Huxley. How you doing, man?
How's it going, people? You alright?
Yeah, not so bad, are you?
Yeah, oh fucking hell, man, I look battered.
Oh.
It is like.
Is it foggy in there, Huxley?
I know, yeah.
Turn your fog machine off.
Now this is room bung.
It's the cellar. Nothing ever escapes out there.
He's that caterpillar sat on that toadstool in what's it, and he went bang in his mouth. Oh, what was it called? Alice in Wonderland, yeah.
Cheshire Cat.
Oh, the caterpillar.
The caterpillar sat on that thingy.
The caterpillar with a big pipe.
Mm.
I just got a vision of that then for some reason. I've no idea why.
So, Daiz, how you doing this evening anyway, mate? Have you been doing much tonight, man? What have you been up to? I know you're still up and stuff, man, so what's been happening?
My pal Martin was over and we just got a jam. He just restrung his guitar and I just did a shot at the drums tonight, so I just did a good wee jam.
Nice one, man. Hey, I just noticed your avatar there. You've got the BBC propaganda thing, mate. Nice one.
Definitely, man. Spread the word with it.
Is that the picture I took in the lift?
It is indeed.
Do you know that was in the Big Dave put that in one of the lifts and it was up for a grand total of 20 minutes. You went back in the lift 20 minutes later and it was gone.
As I said last night, subverting the media, it's essential, you know what I mean? And it's wee things like that, and it's Cookie expanded on and all. It's really worthwhile doing to be applauded, definitely.
Well, see, we end up with two choices when it comes to this kind of realizations. Like listening to the other guys chatting earlier on the hangout on DJ's channel. You know, people are looking for a way of changing the system or getting rid of it completely and doing something different, yeah? And when you go through this thought process, you always hit this point of choice where it's, well, how do you actually get rid of it? How do you change it? And the way they will present that possibility to you is, well, the only way you can do it is through violence. Because that's the system that they use, that they've perfected, the blood system. So you're left then thinking, well, I don't want to do it their way, because all you do then is end up in that revolution cycle. You just perpetuate what's already there. So you've got to do it in a different way. And for me, the more I looked at this kind of stuff and listened and read other people who've thought about it a lot, you know, and this goes all the way back through history, some of the great teachers, etc. The way to approach it is in a very subtle way, in a very light-handed way, and that is doing things such as trying to communicate to people and inspire them and inform them and empower them and, you know, shake up the status quo for them in a subtle way, such as through media, through culture. I know about McKenna and his opinion that culture is dangerous, and there's other people that said the same kind of stuff. Nietzsche as well defines it really well, of how culture can be used as a very dangerous weapon. But we're not trying to hurt people. Yeah, so therefore we're not using it as a weapon. It's not meant to be destructive to anything other than this thing, this cancerous system. So if we can subvert it in subtle ways such that you're not pushing people in one direction or another, you're presenting new horizons to them, and then the direction they go is more freely up to them. You are giving them more choice back again. The system takes choice away. You're just trying to open up possibilities for more choice. Does that make sense, or am I waffling?
No, it does. It makes sense. Or am I waffling?
It's just, I think everybody's knackered. Like, I'm see right now, I'm like, I'm happy to listen.
That was why I didn't jump in at first, because I thought half falling asleep myself anyway, and I was just happily listening to you talking about the sort of geometry and the gravestones and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought maybe I was just waffling off in one direction, but for me, over the years I got more and more into that kind of cultural media stuff. It's why I was fascinated with the principles of mythology and legend and how it's been intertwined into our modern culture with things such as the superhero legends, the monster legends such as the vampires and zombies and stuff like that. And really those things are like folk tales. They carry truth and they represent truth to people over the ages through each generation again and again and again. These things wouldn't survive. You could say they are like memes in a viral fashion, but I feel they would not have survived if they didn't carry something that was relevant to people in every age again and again and again. That's why folk stories work, because they carry a very core message about life, reality, the way the world is, etc., that proves true in every generation. Doesn't matter what's changed in the world, doesn't matter the advances of technology or whatever, these truths are still there and they're still relevant to the way we live with each other. So cultural stuff, cultural media, and the use of things such as storytelling and passing on complex concepts in a way that is more readily comprehended by people who haven't had the time or inclination to spend many years studying the kind of academic language to explain what it is that they're looking at. They don't need to put lots of little labels on it. Oh, it represents this and this and this and this, and there's this subtext and that subtext. That doesn't register for them, but their subconscious mind still sees the truth that those simplistic stories carry.
I think also you've got iconology coming in here as well, where through the years, I mean, harping back to the superheroes or whatever you're seeing on the screens these days, you know, like the vampires against the werewolves, and they're creating icons, and some of them are false icons. And you know, if you watch any, I mean, I try to avoid TV like self-cookie, but on Channel 5, if they do a news break, it's not to tell you that the world's on fire and World War III started. It's to let you know, what colour dress some film stars got on at some do somewhere and who's fallen out with who. You know, it's nothing to do with news at all. It's all about iconology and you know, breaking down to what you're saying in icon. So some of them are false icons and some of them are pure subversion again. You know, it's no good looking at Superman because he ain't coming. He's not going to save the world, man. You know, yeah, but it's a good comic. Yeah, but it's not happening, dude. You know.
Are you sure?
You know, but so that I mean, it's just a mental blast, isn't it? If you're watching something like Terminator or whatever at the flicks, you've got to regard it as getting on a roller coaster and think, well, all that's going to happen during the next 2 hours is my brain is going to go for a roller coaster ride, and I've got to make the choice to ignore everything, because it will be, even if it's about a fictional character, you know, like Thor or whatever, they're going to use their magic, their Hollywood magic, to put as much symbology and subconscious mental language through to the audience. Well, we know they do anyway.
That's the real craft of the visual medium manipulators, isn't it? People who make films, directors in particular, What is it a director does? I know they supposedly give directions to the actors, but a lot of what they do really is setting a scene and making sure that the subtext and context that they want to present is there within the scene as they're shooting it. Yeah, so that's the main thing they do, is control and frame the story to present it in a certain way to the audience.
But TV's dross, and it's all about
mental bubblegum.
People with no skills in a particular direction. People with no skills in one particular direction, thinking they can, you know, join this competition and entertain the Queen for a night. You know, what you get a life, man.
It's a celebration of mediocrity now, really.
You know, if it's not that, it's who's well, they come dine with me, or it's Big Brother. Who gives a fucking shit?
Celebrity gardener, celebrity chef, or celebrity gardener.
But TV has rendered itself down to the most boring shit on the planet. Nothing's exciting anymore. And now they're trying to excite us by creating this fantasy world of vampires and werewolves and dragons. Well,
the thing, that's nothing really new. That's been going on in literature and painting for, you know, all the way back in history. But the one thing I wanted to say about the kind, you're saying it's mediocre and banal, which I agree with you, yeah, but I would also suggest the perception that that's because you see through it. And at the same time, as I was also going to point out, if you look at a lot of those kind of programs that you've mentioned, what I would call mental bubblegum, a lot of them, if not all of them, deliberately target certain base drives and impulses. So they either try to incite greed or jealousy or pride, you know, the general bad, lustful things that people have inside them. And for example, they're like keeping up appearances, kind of keeping up with the Joneses kind of stuff. You know, come dine with me. It's a competition of seeing who's the best at doing something silly. You know, having a dinner party and pretending that they're all wonderful and all this shit. It's like, what the fuck?
And then getting that as a new societal norm through normalcy bias.
Yep, that's what I was implying by talking about this is not something new in the sense of people are interested in talking at or listening to stories about that kind of subject, like monsters and creatures and fantasy stories. That's always been around, but the way it's presented now is what I call the metamorphosis of the monster. Yeah, they are trying to make it normalized. The vampire legend has been so diluted and watered down that it's really seriously lost the implication of terror that it should have. Yeah, that was the whole point of those folk tales, was to inspire sheer terror at the horror of what this thing is. It's completely anti-life.
I just think of Christopher Lee in my time scale, and they're still dragging him out of his coffin to use him in well, they used him in Lord of the Rings, didn't they? Christopher Lee. And I'm thinking, shit, when I was a kid I was watching Christopher Lee sink his teeth into women's neck, you know.
In the Hammer House. So
that's all I remember.
And they did him over on that film as well, because they promised him a much bigger part and stuff like that.
Hello, it's gone quiet.
It's funny that people still watch the likes of X Factor and that as well, because not only have you got the celebration of mediocrity, but they have been caught red-handed picking who they want to win it. They've basically been caught red-handed double-tracking vocals for pre-selected favourites. Now, and their phone, their call-ins have been rigged as well. So that should be game over for any rational.
But it's about making millions out of. It's making millions out of a no opus show. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but the bulk of the people that go there thinking that they've got a chance on X Factor, some of them are in total cloud cuckoo land. But because of the hype and because of what it could do to change their lives, they're mystified by it, not really accepting the fact that they're not up to the mark. And if you're thinking about the whole country, they're trying to find one person, that's one out of 60, 70 million.
It irritates me that you get people like stuffed shirts like Simon Cowell and Louis Walsh who are trying to tell people what music is. I mean, these people
are about the money.
Cadavers, man. They're not even, and they're choking up the airwaves with people who have got talent and who have got something to say, and that's the sort of slosh that you're getting dealt with. I suppose it's been that way for a while, but I think from 1990, that's when the music really took a bad turn. I think the control system said, right, that's enough. We really need to get this sort of toned down with elevator music, that just, as Morrissey says, says nothing to me about my life, just hang the DJ as it will, you know what I mean? It's just absolute schmaltz. What more can I say? I mean, I could go on at length about X Factor and the like, but and then as a musician, you get people saying, "Why don't you go into X Factor?" And you wouldn't see, as a musician, somebody that does play, you would never get anywhere near it. You wouldn't give it any sort of cadence,
It's part of the delusion, though, isn't it? That the people who gravitate towards it, who get lured into its gravity, think they're going to become famous and stuff like that. And really, that's the main hook that gets people. They just want the attention, they want the fame, and they think they're going to make lots of money and stuff like that. Whereas, if you look into it, the contracts they get offered are absolutely shit. They're typical for the kind of media moguls, let's call him that loosely, like Simon Cowell. They've had plenty of practice of how to milk an artist to generate wealth in that circus, because that's what it is, really. It's a circus, and they want you to get behind their gladiator and support their gladiator, and you too could be one of them lucky ones. You too could have your 15 minutes of fame as well as a check in the bank. That's the way they present it. But it's not. It's just a fucking meat market. It's a machine to chew up the creativity of people and turn it into that fucking bit of paper bullshit that they want.
It's disgusting, mate. And I've done acting as well, and I was going to go to the Royal Academy for music and drama and do the acting. But the more you got into that sort of thing, the more you realise that they are trying to turn, like myself, into Ewan McGregor. You know what I mean? They've got a mould, a specific cast that they want. You know what I mean? This is the acceptable mould for you to be as a creative artist. Well, not a creative artist. You know what I mean? It's like
a golem. They want you to be a golem to carry the essence of the particular archetype that is represented by whoever is the current main actor or actress for that archetype. So, for example, Bruce Willis, what is he? He's God of War. He's Mars, yeah? Because that's the majority of what he does in his storylines, and the character he presents is this very hard-nosed, get on with it, just slaughter them, don't ask questions, just kill them first and sort it out. It's that kind of shit storyline that he does.
Die Hard.
Representing that kind of archetype. Yeah, they just want you to fulfill a role. They don't give a shit about who you are or your creativity. You just have to be this vehicle to carry that archetype.
But it's the dross. It's MasterChef. It's the cake cooking competitions. You know, like I can't believe how many people are hooked on TV and consumed by this nonsense, man. You know.
It's actually a good example because, like, come down with me. For me, I would appreciate some kind of media where they're demonstrating, sort of similar to what we're doing here with the hangout. Say somebody out there, I mean, this might already be going on for all I know because I haven't like reached through the Google Plus hangout stuff. But say you want to do a cooking type of hangout where you have just ordinary people cooking ordinary stuff, communicating with each other while they're doing it and sharing that with an audience. Yeah, that to me, so like, well, that helps build community, doesn't it? Because you're sharing skills and knowledge at the same time as you're demystifying it and showing people that this is just as easily achieved by you as it is by me. Whereas they take that kind of idea and they add greed and jealousy to it. It's like, who's
control?
The best? Yeah, it's a competition. Who can make the best? And you'll have
can't put a meter on it, Cookie. Can't put a meter on it, man. Competition's a sin.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a show like this on your television because at the moment there's no one sitting in a chair like David Dimbleby controlling what questions we discuss, or you know, or
here. Change your subject.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what I mean.
Free Palestine.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Waiting for Dimbleby to have a freak out at the word Palestine.
So
if they put us on TV, they'd shit themselves.
I'm not 100% sure on that though nowadays, Dean, because I think a lot of them are realising that this kind of format is actually becoming more dominant. And you see a lot more stuff that merges between traditional TV kind of format and the kind of more open internet format. Have you seen some of the shows to do with, like, they'll show you the latest, most popular YouTube videos and stuff like that?
They'd still want to pick it apart. They would still want to pick it apart and destroy it because of the freedom that it's got wrapped around it, and they'd want to find out who's on it, what are those people all about. And next thing you know, you get people snooping around you, like making up shit about you, trying to destroy what you created out of something out of nothing, something that's full of positivity and freedom, and they would just want to pick it apart, control it, and destroy it.
Look at the UK YouTube.
Say again, Daiz, I missed that.
All we really need to look at is the UK column and AppVod to see the way they're sort of trying to get their tentacles into this sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I think what you just described, Kendo, is like the experience I've had. Not all of it, you know, there's been a hell of a lot of positive stuff, but there is that atmosphere already on YouTube and has been for a long time. As they've been trying to, like we were talking about the other night, the gradualism stuff, they've been gradually changing YouTube so that they can more readily commodify it and control it. Other, you know, more independent voices like ours and a lot of the other people out there have just been attacked continuously, more and more and more, because they're trying to push us out because we can't be commodified because we refuse to be. So, you know, they don't want us around. We're taking up bandwidth and space that they could be making money out of.
Precisely. And also, it's just another symptom of a dictatorship. When you fear the people speaking, then the people have woken up to the tyranny, and the only way they can initially bite back on that is to shut the people up. And that's why if you make the wrong comment on Facebook, you're going to get a knock on the door and disappear for 24 hours into a police cell. You know, and you're probably going to disappear for an even longer time if your name's Chris Spivey, because all you're saying is what you're seeing.
Just make sure you don't call for the Queen to get hung or her head chopped off like King James.
Well,
I mean, I don't think they'd appreciate people reminding the common folk that you can actually chop these bastards' heads off because they're not doing their job right. There's a precedent for it, man, and if you go and actually look at the legal precedent that was done during that time as well, both sides were kicking shit out of each other and they were both sick of it, and they ended up just going, right, we'll let you off with that, and we'll let you off with that. Granted, Oliver Cromwell did end up with his head in a spike, but that was after the elites got their claws back into the power, and I would argue the Jesuits and the Catholic Church regained power in the country through King Charles II. And he get reinstated. That's when Oliver Cromwell lost the battle. They reinstated the monarchy from the republic that Oliver Cromwell had created. And then Oliver Cromwell ended up with his head chopped off. And Oliver Cromwell's head is buried. Can't remember the name of the church. It was where his head was chopped off. But it's buried in a secret location, and there's only 3 people in the world that know where it is. And that's so nobody goes and digs it up and whatnot, man. But
didn't they dig him up again 3 years after he died or something?
They buried his full body and then it got dug up.
Yeah.
And then eventually they got a hold of his head and it's been buried secretly. And I can't remember now, but there's like sort of I think it may even be the Oliver Cromwell Society or something.
What the fuck's what's wrong with these people? Just let the guy lie in his fucking grave. Burying his head 15 times now.
After he died, he was put on trial, and he was sentenced to hang. And obviously, they exhumed the body and hung it, and it fell apart. and that's when they started. There was bits of Oliver Cromwell disappearing, and his body was scattered all over the country.
Oliver Cromwell was a prick, but he set a good precedent that if the king isn't doing his job properly, chop his fucking head off. So, I don't know. Bad precedent to set, I'm sure, but it's fact.
Well, King Charles I was a bugger and a greedy bugger, wasn't he? And he was possessed by this sovereign having a connection to God, you know.
Divine right of kings.
Divine right of kings, yeah.
But like, they say the divine right of kings. If you break it down, and I don't know, but in basic terms, it's kind of the king was kind of like the kings used what the Pope said. The king was God's representation on earth, so they were literally the kings thought they were God on earth, and that's why they were above fucking everything.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not suggesting anybody go and chop Lizzie's head off in front of the Tower of London with an axe. But there is a precedent set. The sovereign ain't doing their job right, off with them heads.
Yeah.
You're saying just like the Queen of Hearts.
I will look like King James wasn't the first king to get his head chopped off, but he was the first king that got his head chopped off to abolish the monarchy. And Oliver Cromwell then, I think it's a good analogy with what Oliver Cromwell done with, let's say, communism. I mean, if you read the headline of communism, it sounds fucking great, but then when you read the small print, you sort of see, well, the corruption of man leads the head of communism to be a fucking king. And it could be argued with the same with Oliver Cromwell, but it seems like he was coming for the right place. He wanted to fucking do away with the monarchy, and he ended up being, what was it, Lord fucking, he didn't put himself as, he didn't make himself king, but it was Lord Protector.
That's it, Lord Protector. Sorry about that rattling, it was me killing a fly. Little bastard's been annoying me all night. Yeah, but Cromwell was a Puritan, wasn't he? Everything that when he created the Republic in Britain, he based it on religion, Puritanism. because he was a Puritan.
What I found really interesting, what I found really interesting when I was looking into this stuff recently is when Oliver Cromwell was kicking about, you still had very much three kingdoms in the sense Scotland, Ireland, and England. And up in Scotland, and funnily enough, this is where John Knox comes in. He was head of the Presbyterian Church in Scotland, the Scottish Church, Church of Scotland. And I've only really scratched beneath the surface with this one, but their teachings was very much the top man is God, and they didn't believe in draping the church with gold. They done away with the cross and the procession. They just wanted people to rock up in church and read the Holy Scripture. Obviously, that's more or less done away with now and stuff, but because there was a divide between the Church of England during the Reformation. There was obviously a strong I'm so fucking tired I can't speak. A Protestant, I'm honestly falling asleep here. There was obviously a strong Protestant movement in England as well, but the Protestant movement in Scotland was separate from the Protestant movement in England, and they had separate churches, and they were preaching from a separate. They're preaching different things. The Scottish Church didn't believe in bishops. Bishops were kind of, how would you call bishops? They were like the king dongs, so the rulers of the church. They were the ones that kept the flock in check. Whereas the Presbyterian Church in Scotland didn't have any bishops. The head man was God, and there was no bishops to tell people what the word of God was, to the best of my knowledge, anyway.
Yep. Well, Church of England would have been controlled by the monarchy, wouldn't it? in terms of in England.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. During the Reformation, I think it's the Anglican Church. It was more or less called, and up in Scotland you had the Presbyterian Church. But exactly what you're saying there, Kendo. You still had the king, and then you had the bishops, and then you had the flock. Whereas with the Presbyterian Church, you just had fucking God.
Well, from Henry VIII onwards, they were all definitely defenders of the faith, and they were supposed to protect the faith of the people of England as well as rule over them. But recently, as 2010, when the Pope visited England, the Queen and the Pope disappeared to Scotland to one of the castles that she owns, and the Church of England was signed back over to the Vatican, which means she's no longer a defender of the faith. And if she can't defend the faith of supposedly of the people of England, then she shouldn't be the Queen.
Kendall, maybe you can fill in a few wee gaps here, because I've recently only been sort of looking into this. But it was obviously along the time of like King James and then King Charles I and King Charles II. And was it King Charles II whose brother, who happened to be the next in line for the throne, who converted to Catholicism? And it was when, and there was more of a ruckus when there was the
Seamus a Kakar.
Was that sorry?
That's what started all the orange flag waving.
Nah, that's what brought in King William. They brought in King William to make sure there wasn't a Catholic on the throne. Because
James came in after Charles II and wanted to convert England back to Catholicism, and the English weren't having it. And he realised that, and he was more or less chased out of England. And because the Irish people were still Catholic, he went across there, and we appealed because of some connection for some reason or other. We appealed to the Dutch, and William of Orange took the throne of England.
The reason it was King William is at the time there was the Reformation was happening in Europe as well, so it was a very much. I'm simplifying it here, but it was more or less a north-south divide. Whereas the powerhouse, the biggest Catholic country at the time was Spain, and it was King William that was doing damage on the continent. and he was the Protestant. He was the head of the Protestant movement in Europe, fighting the Catholics, and that's why the English did go to King William of Orange. He was the only one who would have had the power and whatnot at the time.
Yeah. Plus, if you think about the Dutch, he had good navy sense as well, which the British had. And when William of Orange took the throne, he made a contract with the people of England that and this is all documented, and the whole everything he said, and the contract is supposed to be still lawful, and the successors to this agreement that King William made are supposed to follow that same contract, and our present Queen has not followed that contract. And it's basically since the royal family's been stitched up with the Parliament Act 1911.
Off with her head!
That Mary Queen of Scots, wasn't it?
No, Mary Queen of Scots was the mother of King James the First. He was like King James the 6th or 7th of Scotland, who was the first king. It was James the First of England, and he was the one that set out to. Because Queen Mary, Mary Queen of Scots should. I might stand corrected here, but I'm pretty sure she should have actually been on the throne, and that's why she was kept imprisoned in England, somewhere up in York.
Have you been to Castle? Have you been to a castle?
Stirling Castle?
No, to her castle. Is it in Lochloven? I think it is.
Can't say I have, Dean, man. No.
Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago. I wouldn't mind going up there, actually. Next time I come up, take a day down there. You'll enjoy it, though.
Well, mate, that would be definitely a thing to do. And another place to go as well is definitely Stirling Castle. Stirling Castle was where King James the 6th or 7th, I can't remember now, of Scotland, ruled Scotland from before whoever died down in England and left the throne open down in England, and then opened the throne up to King James, and that's when he moved from Stirling Castle, which it was James Stewart. That was the start of the Stuarts, and that's when King James moved down to fucking London, in the Tower of London or whatever it was, and left Stirling Castle. And I'm pretty sure that was the last, like, let's say, monarch that stayed in Stirling Castle.
Wasn't that
Charles the First? Charles I and Charles II were Stuarts.
Aye, because you had King James, he was a Stuart, and then obviously his son was Charles, and then his son was Charles again. They were all Stuarts, aye. Yeah. And then what happened then, how King Billy, or King William, whatever you want to call him, probably get done in with the Celtic fans by calling him King Billy there, but who cares? He married, King William married, I think it was King Charles II's sister, if I'm not mistaken. She was staying in France at the time, and King William married her, which allowed him to take the throne of England. That's how he became part of the monarchy in England, by marrying the next in line to the throne from Charles II was his sister, and King William married her. And that's how they. And she was Protestant at the time, even though other members of the family turned Catholic. She remained Protestant. I think she stayed in France, and King William married her to allow him to then come and take the monarchy in England.
What happened to Henry?
I can reference your orange flag waving thing there, Kip, because King William took the British army and part of the Dutch army across to Ireland, and he met King James's army at the Battle of the Boyne. And if you think of the Orange Order that goes on to this day with the Protestant side in Northern Ireland, and what happens in Scotland with the orange flag waving business, that is a direct reference to King Billy sort of donning it over the Catholics, and it's still going on to this very day.
Do you know what I found out? Do you know what I found out the other day as well, Kendo? Now I can't remember who it was. Right, it was either fucking, I think it was either King James, the first of England, the first king of Great Britain, or whatever you want to call it, or Oliver Cromwell, which I know they're pure on opposite sides, but I can't remember who it was. But at the time, obviously, you had the vast majority of Ireland was fucking majority was Catholic, and the Protestants during the Reformation were trying to gain a foothold in Ireland. And at the time, it must have been King James. I'll need to go and check this out, but I'm pretty sure it was King James. If not, it was Oliver Cromwell. And they had to go to Parliament for money to fund the war to go and gain a foothold over in Ireland. And I found this out the other day, and staying in the central belt of Glasgow.
That would be Cromwell.
Was it Cromwell? Mate?
It was Cromwell, because after the Civil War, Cromwell took an army to Scotland and had a go at you lot, unfortunately, and kept you lot at bay. And then he got a load of boats and took an army over to Ireland and did some serious war crimes to the Irish people in Drogheda.
Well, do you know what?
He showed no mercy. They just slaughtered everybody.
Well, what I found out the other day, I was obviously getting mixed up there with King James and Cromwell, but what Cromwell done, how he got the money, obviously, like back in the day, he still needed money to raise an army. Now, what he done and how he facilitated the takeover of Ireland and to gain a foothold in Ireland was he went to the city of London, which is fucking independent from any kingdom, and he went to the guilds of the city and he promised or gave away lands in Northern Ireland to the guilds of the city of London, who then stumped up a lot of money for an army to go over and take over that area of land. And predominantly the area of land that Cromwell, now I know Cromwell's army took over, funded by the city of London, was Derry. Now obviously Derry now fucking again, I'm splitting hairs here because I'm going to get gypped no matter what way I crack it, but now it was Londonderry. But I'm arguing it shouldn't be Londonderry, it should be City of Londonderry, because that's the people who funded it. That's the guilds who owned the land that was given away to them by the king. So the fucking, when people think it's like, oh, the Englishmen came over and took over, it was fucking all funded by the, and remember this was what the 17th century. The city of London had broke away for the kingdom. Back in the 11th century, they got their independence and their right to elect their own Lord Mayor, and it was towards the end of the 11th century that the City of London got the right to elect their own Lord Mayor without consultation with the King, complete separation and complete independence away from the kingdom. And since then, they've just been left on their Todd, and they've fucking funded every war. I would argue they've probably funded every war fucking since then, and it probably in the same model where the fucking king comes and offers the lands to the guilds. If the guilds give them lots of money to fund an army to go and take over, and then they're allowed to go in there and rape and pillage the fucking land for minerals, food, fish, whatever.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah,
listening to you guys go over that history, and it's great information about the history of our country in particular. But it was making me think, isn't this just a good example of how inbred and incestuous and nepotistic and insane these people were, and still are? Yeah? They're all interbred with each other, and then they go to war with each other, but they're only really going to war with each other because it generates wealth and power. So they play this bullshit chess game where it ain't them that's standing on the battlefield and getting killed. Yeah, they just use all these groups of people, and in that conflict that they generate, out comes wealth and power. That's one of the main cores of the big machine of what the fuck they do. And like you've just explained, Kip, the City of London acts as the cash supply to enable that whole process. Fucking bunch of crazy.
You don't like that.
Like I said, nothing last night was same rules, same game, and what I didn't say last night is what we need to do. I mean, as a group, as a community, as a bunch of human beings, we can recognise what their gameplay is, and their strength is the fact that they keep using the same old tactics all the time, and they keep gaining, they keep scoring points. But the thing is, in the same way, it's their biggest weakness.
I know this isn't the Friday night in. I'm losing the ability to speak here. I know this isn't the Friday night in or anything, but time, gentlemen, please. Yeah. Right, so 10 minutes or whatnot, man. You know, to finish your pint and stuff, man, and we can.
Yeah.
Because I'm falling asleep, man. So I don't know, man. We'll chat for another wee 5-10 minutes, and we'll call.
You'll like that link I've just put in chat box.
Let me see. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm weird. I love fucking timelines, man. Kings and Rulers of Wales. See, they say Kings and Rulers of Wales. I've always worked under the presumption that Wales was a principality, but maybe I'm wrong.
It was separate at one time, but it completely ruled upon itself, wasn't it, at one time, Wales?
It was a kingdom.
Yeah. The Kingdom of Wales. The Dragon Kingdom.
Well, it was sort of falling under the sway of Mercia and England before the Normans turned up, but William consolidated it basically by going in there and building a load of fortresses around the border and the important ports. He basically just took control of it.
I'm going to give you a reference. Close to Lichfield is the village of Atherstone, yeah, and the coat of arms for that village is a bear tethered to a post. And like I've said before about Anglo-Saxons, you know, sons of Isaac, Saxons, Atherstone, a bear tethered to a pole, will tell you that the clue is Arthur's stone, and the bear that is tethered to the pole is Atherstone was the village, and there's some ruins that in the woods not far away from the village that Alan Wilson's been round, and they found a stone with Artorius Rex on it, and the centre of Arthur's kingdom was in Atherstone, close to Lichfield, and that would be Arthur II's second kingdom, the one that got destroyed in the strike by the asteroid. So there you go. And if you check it out, Lichfield, and look very close to Lichfield on Google Maps, you'll find the village of Atherstone.
Spot on. Exactly what I was looking at as well.
You've been doing that while I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Just on the link that Dean sent through there, like we were talking about how King William, how he got over here in the monarchy, it was Mary II. Mary would have been King Charles' sister, just to put a name to who we were chatting about.
I love finding links when I can. I said I love finding good links.
Aye, man. I don't know. I just love timelines, man. I've always thought about sitting down and trying to do my own timeline and just like a fucking Excel or spreadsheet or something, but I don't even know how to work those fucking things.
I actually considered doing that during the World Cup, so I didn't have to support England. I was looking back. Seriously, I went back and asked my parents if they'd ever done any genealogy and if anyone in our history was foreign. It turns out there's not. No, I'm bloody stuck with England.
On a tangent here, I was flicking through the TV the other night and I came across that programme. I think it's called Who Do They Think They Are, or Who They Are, or something. It's when they look at the genealogy of famous people. And they had this, I can't even remember the fucking celebrity that they had on, but it was this chinless fucking wonder. You would recognise him for the TV, right? Just one of these motherfuckers you look at and you can tell that he was born with a gold bar shoved up his arse, right? And he's sitting there going, I was so surprised to find out I had royalty in my family. It's like, I could tell you by fucking looking at you, you chinless wonder, motherfucker. I mean, where did he... They're brain dead fucking idiots, man. Ah, jeez. Man. Like, I don't like to... I don't know. Is it just me, or you can actually tell by the look of some of these motherfuckers that there's something not right about them, man. You can tell the inbredness in them.
Exactly, yeah. It's the inbreeding. There is a bloodline strain. It's not just one of the bloodlines, it's in a few of them. But primarily the European ones, northwestern European ones. They've got that sloping chin, the inward chin, the quite protruding nose. They've got quite a elongated profile, and the forehead usually slopes back quite far as well.
We're talking eugenics now, fellas.
Yeah, or phrenology, let's fill the bumps on their head. They were usually as well notoriously, in some manner, mentally disabled. Either they had an uncontrollable temper, or they were a bit simple, or they had weird fetishes. Well, I mean, that goes for most of them anyway, but the inbreeding, it's literally what it is when you look at it and read about how crazy some of these people were. It's because of the inbreeding.
Right, look at David Cameron's face, right? And here's one. There's Queen Victoria. Right, well, there's Russell Brand for just a laugh, but obviously that's a bit doctored and shit, but it's still funny. But look, there's Queen Victoria, and there's fucking David Cameron. Look, they've got the same fat, fucking pompous face without the existence of a fucking chin.
You gotta do it. Take Cameron's face and put it on that picture of Queen Victoria.
Do you know what? See as well, Cookie, look, it's the perfect profile as well. All you would do is need to resize it a wee bit and it would fit in there fucking perfectly, man. I'm going to try and do that, man. I don't know if I've got the skills for it, but I'll try and maybe do that.
It is her, isn't it?
What, sorry?
It is her. That is definitely her.
Oh no! In fact, I think here we've completely missed the boat, guys. I think what we've just proven now is David Cameron is a time traveller, and he travelled back in time and fucking wore a dress and kidded on he was Queen Victoria.
Can I just add a little caption to it, saying we are fucking amused.
I'll get on that tomorrow. That's the first thing I'm going to do when I get home, mate.
Because that was a catchline. We're not amused. Well, we fucking are.
Dino, if you ask me tomorrow, man, if you can remember whatnot, all I done to get that those set of pictures was put in chinless wonder, and then these pictures came up. So second go down, you've got David Cameron, and you've also got Queen Victoria. Oh look, is that that stupid bitch that's the head of fucking the Met? I think it is. I might be wrong, but I think look at if that isn't doctored, please show me in that picture where her fucking chin is.
Is that not a turkey in a fucking police uniform?
I was thinking it looks a bit fish-faced.
Cressida Dick. Her name is Cressida Dick.
As well as Chris. And see, the scary thing is, we're sitting here having a joke and a giggle about this. We're so on the button, it's untrue. I would fucking argue, man. I mean, it's there to be seen, man. Oh, there's Shane McGowan, another chinless wonder. And look, there's Assad. He's a chinless wonder.
I did a search for posh twats. That comes up with a very similar result.
Try stuck-up cunts as well.
See, who says Google doesn't have a sense of humour? I like David Cameron comes up under posh twats. Oh, sweet man.
My nephew said the only thing he couldn't find on Google was donkey's dick.
Donkey's dick?
Why did you want to find donkey's dick?
I have no idea whatsoever.
Maybe you should have a quiet word with him.
Oh, it's beyond that.
Depends how long you've been alone with your donkey, mate.
Kendall, what was that search you wanted me to do there, man? Something cunts?
Stuck up cunt.
David Cameron, let's see. Oh, fucking hell, we're getting porno and everything, man.
Oh no!
We're actually getting things stuck up a cunt.
Oh my!
Come on, Google, get your act together, man. Oh, fuck me, it's everywhere, man. I think putting cunts in the search fucking thing is a bad idea.
But locally to where I am, if somebody's a snob, he's a stuck-up cunt. He's stuck up his own arse.
Do you know what a posh wank is?
You know what 500 quid, is it?
No,
do you know
a posh
where
wank.
the word posh came from?
But a posh wank is when you have a wank with a glove on.
Do you know where the word posh came from?
Nope.
It came from that Victorian and Edwardian era when if you got shitloads of money, you could go on holiday for a season. And if you did the bit down the Suez and cut through and to go to Egypt and down the Nile, you went port out and starboard home, so you didn't have the sun shining on your side and you were on the sweaty side of the boat. So it was port out, starboard home. So if you could afford that port out, starboard home, you were one of the posh bastards. And that's where it emanated from, posh. Just a little bit of trivia.
No, I love stuff like that, man. And here's something I'll run by yous, man. I've never looked into this or anything. Just somebody pointed out the coincidence. The word.
Is that Big Dave at the bottom right of your screen wearing the red pants?
Cookie, don't out him, man.
Propaganda on the back of his pants.
Don't out him, Cookie. Fuck, there's Big Dave, man. Fuck me. Oh, Big Dave, it wasn't me that outed you, man. Fucking blame Cookie. But, guys, have you ever heard about like news being north, east, south, west? Is there any truth in that, or is it just one of those stupid coincidences?
Well,
Like
we have northwest news.
No, like, on a compass, you've got north, east, south, west, so the news would be encompassing everything.
North, east, west, south. NEWS news.
You think there's anything to that, Cookie?
Could be, because it references as well, similar to what we were talking about earlier, because actually this is something that I wanted to mention, the Rosicrucian cross. And I remember ages ago, you'd put a video up that was showing some similar symbols, and I said to you about the ancient symbol for the earth, which is a circle with a cross in it, yeah? Or right. One of the ancient symbols. And one of the things that the Rosicrucians and other groups that come out of that lot or go along with it did is expand each of the cardinal directions. So rather than it just being a single line, they expanded it to a chevron. So you end up with 8 sides, basically playing with the sacred geometry of the symbol. It also, implies the octagon. We're back on that group again.
We always seem to come full circle to things like that, don't we?
On certain things, it's inevitable because they're so intertwined into our societies and our history, etc. So it's inevitable that you're going to come across them here, there, and everywhere.
Mm.
Like the obelisk. That was something I also meant to ask as well, Kip. Maybe next time you go to the necropolis, if you can, have a look at the top of that cross, or what's left of it. I'm curious as to whether the head of the cross didn't fall off accidentally. Was it taken off by somebody?
Well,
I know what you mean.
I did actually have a look at it, Cookie, but to the untrained eye, it just looked like broken stone. It looked similar to the breaks that you find in other gravestones and stuff. But I'll definitely take a closer look next time and bear that in mind, man. Because
it's something unusual to see, though, because any good stonemason would not have chosen a piece of stone that had a flaw in it that would not have survived that long. Do you see what I mean? The age of the cross implies that it shouldn't have broken like that. If it has, then there was more likely a flaw in the stone, which, considering who it was made for, do you think it's likely that they had some crappy cheap stonemason from down on the high street make that thing? No fucking way. Whoever it was one of the indoctrinated ones. You know, he was an acolyte who would have crafted that. So to me, it seems highly unlikely that thing would have cracked accidentally. But it could involve a hell of a lot of investigation, because you'd have to look for things like local news as to whether it was hit by lightning, you know, whether, or did somebody attack it for some reason. You see what I mean? It's whether you want to bother getting into all that kind of shit.
Oh no, I'll definitely look at that, because one thing that even just jumps into my head just now that you talk about it, if you go and look where the break actually happened, it was exactly where, let's say, the cross started, if that makes any sense. It was right up at that sort of that section.
So that's what I mean. To me, that implies that they are attempting to behead whoever the obelisk represents.
Well, the fact that it's got a Jesuit symbol on it right there in front of you, and the rest of the fucking place is filled with proddy fucking symbolism, man. Maybe a proddy took offence to it one time. I don't even know if you've seen the thumbnail I was using, which is a picture, I think it was in the 40s or 50s, which was obviously like a lodge going down there to bury one of their members, and it's like and that is a picture from the Glasgow Metropolis, that fucking Glasgow cemetery, and it was actually a picture from there, and it was a picture of a lodge going there and burying one of their own, man.
Necropolis.
Necropolis. I'll get it one of these days, man. The more I try, the harder it
That's
fucking...
it. Just don't think about it. Just say it. Necropolis.
It makes it sound like a head policeman. Necropolis are coming to get you.
Necropolis are coming.
Necropolis. Yeah.
Hey,
Necropolis.
Guys, thanks for all joining me, man. It's been brilliant, man. I think we've had a cracking chat, man. But fuck's sake, it's nearly 4 in the morning. I think we've
50 minutes.
If we do this much longer, the fucking Illuminati guys are going to start coming out and calling us vampires, man.
Can I leave you with a 10-second quickie then? With reference to Atherstone, I did mention a bear tethered to a pole. The bear, if anyone wants to look up what the meaning of the name Arthur is, it'll come out Bearman, and he was known as Bearman, and that's why the bear is tethered to a pole, because that's where his kingdom is. So there you go, folks.
Oh Jesus, Kendall, you've got me started now. Do you know how you're talking about Arthur there? Obviously you've got the ancient myth of King Arthur, and if you go and look into the myth of King Arthur, his one of his agendas was to unite all the kingdoms of Britain. And they used to call King James, that we were talking about earlier, the first king of Britain, let's say, they used to call him Little Arthur.
Really?
Yeah. But they did call him King Arthur after that, relating to the legend that existed at the time of King Arthur the legend kind of thing, so they called him Little Arthur when he was a young boy. So it was in the planning.
I think Arthur's vision of a kingdom, because at the time it was, you see, people have got that word confused, anarchy. When we say the word anarchy, we confuse it with like rioting on the street. And anarchy is many kings, and a monarchy is one king. So Arthur was quite happy to run as the number one king in an anarchy, in a country of many kings, where regions selected a leader or a king or whatever you want to call him to run local community in the best interest of the whole community, sort of thing. Not in the collective sense, but in being a central king who would be like a non-interfering body and if there was a dispute, it would go through all the various channels and end up being sorted out. It was a different kind of kingship.
It's Saxon style. It was like
possibly, yeah.
Almost like a federal system, where every little independent kingdom, they were quite happy for them to be independent little kingdoms, but they all came under a sort of overarching federal gathering system, a rule system, law system.
More importantly, the king was a public servant. He served his people, and if he didn't serve his people, then he was replaced by someone else. You were only as good as your word. That's the difference in that kind of kingship. They weren't lording it over everybody. They were trying to be of value in the community as a servant to the community, which is what we are. Yeah.
I know you'll know what I mean as well, Kenda, because I know you've looked into this kind of stuff as well. It amazed me when I was looking at that kind of information. You compare it to other cultures that have an uncannily similar way of doing things, or had. You know, it's been usurped and corrupted, but a lot of the older cultures quite happily coexisted using that kind of system.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. Perhaps, you know, that's what we need. Community. We don't need a government. We don't need a king. We just need each other.
Yeah.
You know,
not rulers, servants.
Yeah, public servants. You know, because I still think you need a dustbin man, you need a postman, you need a street cleaner, you need a lollipop man, you need teachers, you need all that stuff. But we don't need people doing what they're doing at the moment, and that's milking the system and corrupting it for their own purpose. We just need a system that's working as servants of the people for the best interests of the people.
And that's what's happened, hasn't it? Everything's got turned around and corrupted, man. It's
Yeah.
all working the wrong fucking way.
Bring back the stocks, man. That's what you should do. Bring back the stocks. All bad fruit from supermarkets, all stacked up, and all MPs put in them.
Yeah. I'd like to send him a message in newspaper myself.
No, your DNA's in that.
Yeah, if we could time it right and still make it warm as well.
I don't know if it's still going, but I remember there was a few years ago, I think this was in the USA, there was a woman that was actually offering exactly that service. You could even have a choice, a selection of which particular feces you wanted to send to the person. And she'd send it all gift wrapped and lovely and nice, you know, like a present. Open it up, and you know, it's a moose poo or something.
Oh.
Well, guys, on the note of moose poo, I think we'll call it. There's not a better note to end it on. And we'll expand on the moose poo next time. So thanks to everybody in the chat, thanks to everybody in the room, and thanks to all the vampires that have stayed up and watched us tonight, man. And thanks to everybody, 2K, Dean, Daiz as well. Huxley, thanks for joining in as well, mate. And Kendo. So thanks to you all, man, and hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. Hopefully, all right, guys.
Okay, folks.
Cheers, everyone in the chat room.
Cheers. Night.
Night, everybody. And don't have nightmares. Lock your doors.